In the vast, untamed lands of the Old West, where boundaries were drawn in dust, and every day was a battle against the elements and uncertainty, there lived a rancher whose generosity carved a legacy far beyond the fences of his land. Each month, without fail, he extended a hand to a stranger passing through, whether weary traveler, lost soul, or wandering spirit, offering aid not for recognition, but from a place of deep kindness and respect. His quiet acts of compassion would ripple across the wild frontier, touching lives in ways that few could imagine. For years, the rancher's kindness went largely unnoticed beyond his immediate circle. He asked for nothing in return, neither praise nor reward, his actions guided by a simple belief that every person deserved dignity and help. Yet, behind the scenes, these gestures were sowing seeds of gratitude among the tribes scattered across the plains, tribes whose members had once viewed settlers with suspicion but came to see in this rancher a rare ally and friend. When the rancher passed from this world, his death was met with a profound outpouring of respect and honor. Tribes from every corner of the region sent gifts, tokens of appreciation and mourning, to the rancher's family, a testament to the bonds he had forged through years of quiet generosity. These offerings were more than material. They symbolized the deep connections and mutual respect earned through kindness in a world often divided by conflict and mistrust. This story is not just about one man's charity, but about the bridges built between cultures and communities through the power of empathy. It challenges the harsh narrative of the Old West as a place only of rivalry and survival, revealing instead a landscape where compassion could create unity and lasting bonds. The rancher's legacy stands as a powerful reminder that kindness, even in the smallest forms, can shape history. Join me as we journey through this remarkable tale, a story of honor, humanity, and the enduring strength of generosity that transcended boundaries and united tribes. Discover how one rancher's monthly acts of kindness became a legacy celebrated by many, forever changing the spirit of the frontier. The rancher was a man shaped by the vast, untamed landscape around him, rugged, resilient, yet with a heart softened by years of witnessing hardship and struggle. Each month, without fanfare or expectation, he opened his gates to a stranger passing through his land. Whether a weary traveler seeking shelter, a lost wanderer with nothing but hope, or someone simply in need of kindness, he offered food, rest, and a brief respite from the unforgiving frontier. His generosity was quiet but consistent, a thread of humanity woven into the fabric of a land often marked by isolation and suspicion. His neighbors and townsfolk often wondered at his generosity, for in a place where survival demanded toughness and self-reliance, such acts seemed almost out of place. Yet, the rancher gave without hesitation or demand, guided by a deep-rooted belief that kindness was a form of strength, a principle passed down through generations of those who understood that true power lay in compassion. The strangers he helped were rarely able to repay him, but that never mattered. His reward was the silent gratitude he saw in their eyes and the hope he rekindled in their hearts. The rancher's acts were not widely known beyond the dusty trails and sparse settlements of the region. To many, he was simply a man living quietly off the land. But to those he helped, he was a guardian angel, a rare light in a place where trust was hard-won and often fleeting. His monthly kindness sowed seeds of respect and gratitude that stretched far beyond the fences of his ranch, touching lives across the wild frontier in ways he never imagined. Over the years, these acts became a ritual, a testament to the rancher's unwavering commitment to doing good amidst the hardships of frontier life. Each visitor left a little stronger, a little more hopeful, carrying with them stories of a man whose generosity knew no bounds. Though the rancher himself remained humble and silent about his deeds, the ripple effect of his kindness began to take root, preparing the soil for a legacy that would endure beyond his lifetime. This opening chapter sets the stage for a story of quiet strength, generosity, and the profound impact of small, consistent acts of kindness in a world that often seemed unforgiving. As the years passed, the rancher's reputation grew in whispers and grateful nods among the many tribes scattered across the plains. These were communities that had endured centuries of upheaval and mistrust, but found in the rancher an unlikely friend. Though cultural barriers and histories of conflict often divided settlers and tribes, his unwavering kindness crossed these invisible lines, creating bonds forged in respect and mutual aid. Each month, as a stranger arrived at his ranch seeking shelter, the rancher's generosity extended not only to that individual, but often rippled outward to their people and communities. His kindness was a silent bridge connecting disparate worlds, a powerful reminder that humanity transcends borders and differences. Tribes who once regarded outsiders with suspicion began to see the rancher as a man of honor, someone who respected their dignity and traditions. When news of his passing spread, the depth of the gratitude held by these communities became clear. Tribes from every corner of the region sent gifts to honor the rancher's memory, tokens of appreciation that spoke volumes about the impact of his life. These gifts were not mere material offerings, but heartfelt acknowledgments of the respect and affection he had earned through years of quiet service. The outpouring of gifts became a powerful symbol of unity and the lasting bonds created by kindness. It was a testament to how one man's selflessness had transcended the boundaries of culture and history, inspiring a shared commitment to honor his legacy. The gifts arrived not just as tribute, but as a collective embrace of the values he had lived by: generosity, respect, and courage. This chapter highlights the profound connections and cultural bridges built through consistent kindness, illustrating how empathy can overcome division and foster lasting respect across communities. The rancher's home, once a quiet refuge nestled amid sprawling fields and whispering grasses, transformed after his passing into a place of pilgrimage. People from the farthest reaches of the plains traveled with reverence to honor a man whose simple acts of kindness had forged unbreakable bonds. His neighbors, once unaware of the extent of his generosity, now shared stories of strangers he had sheltered, meals he had shared, and hope he had restored. These tales painted a portrait of a man whose heart was as vast as the open land he called home. As the gifts from the tribes arrived, handcrafted goods, rare medicines, and symbols of cultural respect, they spoke of a deep gratitude that transcended words. Each offering carried a story, a memory of how the rancher's generosity had touched a life, a family, or even an entire tribe. These gifts were a living testament to the invisible threads of connection he had woven across the frontier, uniting people through shared humanity rather than division. The town's elders and leaders convened, moved by the outpouring of respect and the stories that accompanied it. They recognized that the rancher's life embodied a truth essential to the survival and prosperity of the community. Kindness and generosity are not signs of weakness, but the greatest strengths in the harshest of lands. His legacy was more than charity. It was the foundation of peace and cooperation between settlers and native tribes alike. The rancher's family, overwhelmed by the gifts and the stories, embraced the responsibility of preserving his memory and the values he stood for. They vowed to continue his tradition of generosity, ensuring that his spirit lived on through actions that nurtured unity and compassion. His humble ranch became a beacon, inspiring others to see that true wealth is found in the kindness we extend to others. This chapter deepens the emotional resonance of the story, highlighting the tangible ways gratitude and respect can manifest, and how a single life can shape the fabric of a community. The impact of the rancher's kindness extended beyond material gifts and stories. It sparked a cultural shift that rippled through the generations. In a frontier world often marred by mistrust and conflict, his example challenged long-held divisions and opened the door to mutual respect and collaboration. Tribes and settlers began to share resources, knowledge, and traditions, fostering a new era of cooperation grounded in the legacy of one man's compassion. Communal gatherings grew in number and significance, where stories of the rancher's deeds were told alongside tribal histories and settler tales. These gatherings were not just celebrations but acts of healing, weaving together a tapestry of shared experiences and collective hope. Through these moments, the community strengthened its bonds, learning to see each other as partners in survival and prosperity rather than adversaries. Education became a cornerstone of this new unity, with elders from both cultures teaching the younger generations about respect, empathy, and the power of giving. The rancher's story was central to these lessons, a powerful example that kindness could transcend cultural barriers and reshape the course of history. Children learned that strength came not from weapons, but from the courage to help and understand one another. The rancher's legacy inspired many to adopt his practice of monthly generosity, turning his solitary acts into a widespread movement. His example encouraged a frontier society where kindness was a currency more valuable than gold, and generosity was the foundation of lasting peace. The transformation was profound, a testament to how one life, lived with heart and humility, can ignite a flame that illuminates even the darkest corners. This chapter explores the lasting social and cultural changes inspired by the rancher's life, demonstrating the far-reaching power of empathy and generosity to build community. The ripple effect of the rancher's generosity touched not only the people, but the very land itself. The once tense relationships between settlers and tribes softened, replaced by newfound respect and cooperation. Together, they worked the soil, shared the bounty of the seasons, and protected one another against the harsh realities of frontier life. The rancher's legacy became the foundation upon which this fragile peace was built, a peace nurtured by the understanding that kindness could forge bonds stronger than any treaty. His story inspired others to look beyond suspicion and fear, to recognize the shared humanity that connected them all. People began to reach out, offering help to neighbors and strangers alike, creating a web of support that spread across the vast plains. Acts of generosity, once rare and isolated, became commonplace, transforming the social fabric of the frontier. This culture of care was a powerful antidote to the loneliness and hardship that had long defined the Old West. Amid this transformation, the rancher's family carried forward his tradition with pride and humility. They opened their doors and hearts to those in need, continuing the legacy of shelter and kindness. Their efforts reinforced the message that generosity was not a one-time act, but a way of life, a commitment to community that transcended generations and backgrounds. In doing so, they honored the man whose quiet strength had reshaped their world. The community's evolution was reflected in its growing resilience and prosperity. With unity and compassion as their guiding principles, the people faced challenges together, from droughts and harsh winters to threats from outside forces. The rancher's legacy had not only bridged divides but empowered the town to endure and thrive, a testament to the enduring power of empathy and selflessness. This chapter illustrates how kindness can transform a community, fostering strength, resilience, and a shared sense of purpose even in the toughest of environments. The annual gatherings in honor of the rancher became a cherished tradition, a celebration of the values he had lived by and the community he helped build. People came from miles around to share stories, renew bonds, and reaffirm their commitment to generosity and unity. These gatherings were vibrant, filled with music, laughter, and a profound sense of belonging, a stark contrast to the isolation and suspicion that once marked the frontier. During these celebrations, elders recounted the rancher's story, emphasizing the lessons of compassion, humility, and courage that had transformed their lives. Youngsters listened with wide eyes, inspired by the legacy of a man who had taught them that true strength comes from the heart. The rancher's example became a guiding light, shaping the values and character of new generations who would carry his spirit forward. The town's prosperity, rooted in cooperation and kindness, attracted more settlers seeking a place where community mattered. The blending of cultures and traditions enriched the social tapestry, creating a diverse and vibrant frontier society. The rancher's legacy was woven into every aspect of life, from the schools that taught empathy to the councils that governed with fairness and respect. His story became a beacon of hope, reminding all who heard it that even in the wildest, most challenging places, humanity could triumph. It was a testament to the idea that one person's quiet kindness, sustained over time, could inspire change that echoes far beyond a single life. This chapter celebrates the enduring power of legacy, community, and the human spirit, showing how kindness can build bridges across time and culture. As time flowed steadily, like the rivers cutting through the rugged land, The legacy of the rancher's monthly acts of kindness blossomed into a powerful testament of humanity's capacity to connect beyond boundaries. His simple gesture of sheltering strangers became a cornerstone of a cultural awakening, where tribes and settlers who once eyed each other with wariness now found common ground in respect and gratitude. This transformation was not immediate, but grew slowly, nurtured by countless acts of generosity echoing his example. The rancher's quiet dedication demonstrated that compassion could bridge centuries of division and suspicion, fostering a fragile but resilient unity that empowered the community to face the relentless challenges of frontier life together. His influence permeated daily existence, encouraging people to look beyond survival and toward a shared destiny shaped by kindness and mutual support. The land itself seemed to breathe this newfound spirit, as the once tense and divided communities began to heal wounds unseen, building a future that honored both heritage and hope. The women and men who benefited from the rancher's generosity became his living legacy, passing down stories of courage, sacrifice, and unexpected friendship to their children and grandchildren. Around crackling campfires and in the quiet shade of ancient trees, these tales were told and retold, embedding lessons of empathy and selflessness into the collective memory of the region. His life was no longer just a memory, but a guiding light, inspiring future generations to value the power of kindness as a tool for peace and progress. The impact of his generosity rippled outward, influencing neighboring territories and weaving a network of goodwill across the West. This cultural shift challenged the traditional narratives of conflict and conquest, replacing them with stories of collaboration and healing, a powerful reminder that even the harshest landscapes can be softened by the touch of a compassionate heart. The rancher's family, bearing the weight and honor of his legacy, took on the mantle of stewardship with profound humility. They opened their home and hearts to those in need, embodying the principles he had lived by and ensuring that his spirit remained a vibrant force within the community. Their unwavering commitment reinforced the idea that generosity is not a momentary act, but a lifelong dedication to nurturing others and building connections. Through their efforts, the values of respect, empathy, and kindness became deeply ingrained in the town's identity, shaping its growth and resilience. The rancher's legacy thus became a living, breathing force, one that inspired not only gratitude, but also a shared responsibility to uphold the bonds of community forged through compassion. As the town prospered and grew, it faced new challenges that tested the strength of these newly built connections. Yet, the foundation laid by the rancher's kindness held firm. Whether through harsh winters, droughts, or external threats, the community stood united, drawing strength from their shared values and the example set by a man who chose compassion over indifference. This enduring resilience underscored the profound truth that kindness is more than a virtue. It is a powerful force that sustains and empowers societies. The rancher's legacy was proof that the greatest triumphs of the Old West were not won solely through guns or grit, but through the courage to give and the wisdom to unite. The annual commemorations held in honor of the rancher evolved into vibrant celebrations that captured the heart and soul of the community he had helped transform. These gatherings brought together people from distant towns and tribes, united in their shared respect and love for a man whose quiet generosity had left an indelible mark on their lives. The festivities were rich with music, dance, and storytelling, a joyful testament to the power of kindness to heal and inspire. Elders recounted the rancher's story with reverence, weaving his legacy into the fabric of cultural traditions that blended settler and tribal histories. Children listened with wide eyes, learning that strength comes not just from survival, but from the grace to lift others when they falter. These celebrations were more than ceremonies. They were acts of renewal, renewing bonds and recommitting the community to the values that had brought them together. Within the town, the spirit of generosity flourished, influencing not only social customs, but also governance and education. Schools integrated lessons of empathy and respect, teaching youth about the importance of kindness in building lasting relationships and resilient societies. Local leaders, inspired by the rancher's example, fostered policies that encourage cooperation and mutual support between diverse groups. This cultural renaissance created a thriving environment where innovation and tradition coexisted, and where every individual's contribution was valued. The rancher's legacy thus extended beyond his lifetime, shaping not only hearts but also the structures that would guide the community's future. The town became a beacon for travelers and settlers seeking a place where humanity thrived amid the rugged wilderness. Its reputation for generosity and unity drew people from far and wide, who came not just for opportunity, but for a sense of belonging. This influx of new faces enriched the community's cultural tapestry, fostering a spirit of openness and inclusivity that further solidified the bonds the rancher had helped build. The town story became a testament to the transformative power of kindness, proof that even in the wildest frontiers, compassion can create lasting change. Beyond the immediate community, the rancher's story inspired movements of generosity across the frontier. It reminded people everywhere that true wealth is measured not in gold or land, but in the connections forged through acts of empathy. His legacy encouraged countless others to open their hearts and homes, sowing seeds of kindness that blossomed into networks of support and solidarity. This enduring influence showed that one person's courage to give could ignite a flame that lights the way for generations. This chapter captures the lasting cultural and social impact of one man's generosity, illustrating how compassion can build bridges, transform societies, and inspire enduring legacies of hope and unity. The story of the rancher and his monthly kindness became a legend that traveled far beyond the town's dusty streets and open plains. It was told and retold in trading posts, campfires, and gatherings across the frontier, inspiring countless others to embrace the power of generosity. This tale showed that even in the harshest environments, where suspicion and survival often ruled, compassion could flourish and spark profound change. The man's legacy transcended his lifetime, becoming a beacon of hope for anyone seeking to build bridges instead of walls. His example challenged old prejudices and fears, proving that kindness is a language understood across cultures and generations. The tribes that once kept their distance came to see settlers in a new light, not as enemies, but as neighbors capable of respect and friendship. Similarly, settlers learned to honor indigenous traditions and values, fostering a mutual understanding that enriched both communities. The rancher's acts of giving had catalyzed a cultural transformation, one that promoted peace, cooperation, and shared prosperity. Generations grew up hearing about the man who gave without expectation, and his story became a cornerstone of the town's identity. Children were taught that true strength lies not in conquest, but in compassion, and that the richest lives are those spent lifting others. Schools, churches, and councils echoed these lessons, embedding the rancher's legacy into the community's values. His influence became a guiding force, shaping a frontier society built on empathy, courage, and unity. This chapter reflects on how one life's quiet generosity can spark a movement, influence cultures, and inspire countless acts of kindness, proving that the smallest gestures often leave the deepest marks on history. As the sun set over the rugged landscape, casting long shadows over a town forever changed, the legacy of the rancher who helped a stranger each month lived on, not only in stories and gifts, but in the hearts of the people. The community he helped build thrived, rooted in the principles of kindness, respect, and cooperation. The gifts sent by every tribe were more than tokens. They were symbols of a bond that had transformed fear into friendship and isolation into belonging. A simple monument now stands at the edge of the town, a tribute not to wealth or power, but to the enduring strength of generosity. It serves as a reminder that true greatness comes from giving without expectation, and that even the humblest acts of kindness can ripple through time, shaping communities and changing lives. Visitors pause there, reflecting on the profound impact one person can have when they choose compassion over indifference. The rancher's story continues to inspire people everywhere, a timeless lesson that in the vast, often unforgiving world, our greatest weapon is kindness, and our strongest legacy is love. It challenges us to see beyond ourselves, to extend a helping hand to strangers, and to believe in the power of empathy to heal divisions and build bridges. As this chapter closes, we are left with a profound truth. The measure of a life is not in what we take, but in what we give. The rancher's legacy invites each of us to live with open hearts and courageous spirits, becoming the quiet heroes of our own communities, lighting the way for others through the simple power of kindness. As we reflect on the story of the rancher who helped a stranger each month, we are reminded that the quietest acts of kindness often carry the greatest weight. His legacy shows us that generosity is not about fame or fortune, but about the courage to extend a hand when it is needed most, without expectation. In a world often driven by self-interest, his story stands as a beacon of hope, a testament to the transformative power of compassion. The bonds he forged between tribes and settlers transcended centuries of conflict, proving that empathy and respect are the foundations upon which true communities are built. His life teaches us that strength is not measured by dominance or wealth, but by the ability to create peace and unity in places marked by division. This legacy challenges us to reconsider what it means to be powerful and invites us all to lead with kindness. What small acts of generosity can you offer today that might ripple outward and change someone's life? The rancher's story encourages us to believe that every one of us holds the power to build bridges, heal wounds, and inspire change, sometimes with just a simple gesture. It is a call to live intentionally, embracing empathy as a strength and kindness as a way of life. If this story touched you, I invite you to join our community by subscribing to the channel for more inspiring tales that celebrate the human spirit. Like this video if it moved you, and share your thoughts below. Your voice helps keep these stories alive and spreads the message that kindness can change the world. Together, we can honor the quiet heroes among us and inspire a new generation to give without hesitation, love without limits, and live with courage. Remember, even the smallest acts of kindness have the power to transform lives, and sometimes the course of history itself.